Well, hey there. Today I'm out here in front of an apple tree, and being that I'm here in front of this apple tree, there's something that I wanted to share with you. Now, I have a book here in my hand, and the book is by an individual by the name of Andrew Moore, which was forwarded by a Michael W. Twitty, Pawpaw, in Search of America's Forgotten Fruit. Now, I have two books on pawpaws that I've read and I've really looked into, and one thing that really caught my eye in here is a section talking about somebody by the name of Jerry McLaughlin and his life's work, and he found 350 new compounds that were cytotoxic, meaning toxic to cells. And one of the things that he said was in here is lab work showed annonaceous acetogenins to also be effective at killing insects. Mosquito larvae at 1 part per million, and both blowfly and, another word I can't read, a parasitic worm at high potencies. And that really got me to wondering. It's a very good book. A lot of information in this book. There's nothing wrong with reading a book. You learn from a book. And that's a good book, Mr. Moore. Very good book. That being said, once again, I'm out here, like I said, in front of an apple tree. I had a limb that broke off over there earlier. We had a small storm came through here, good strong winds, and it broke a limb that had a apple in it. And I'm looking over that apple. I wished I had a knife. I'd cut it open and look inside, but I'm not seeing any damage to that apple as far as wormholes, and that's really got me wondering about that, because I have an apple right here, clean as a whistle. There's another one right here. It's clean. I've got good, clean apples all up through this tree. There's another one right there, and one above it. A couple right here. The tree has good, clean apples in it, and I'm really surprised. Now, last year I had a friend over here, and he had asked me, "Are you spraying that tree?" And I told him, "No, I'm not spraying it." And he's like, "Well, how comes there's no worms in it?" I said, "I don't know." But as time went on, and as I got to looking things over, and I'd seen that passage in that book, and it really got me thinking. You know, we talk about, or people have discussed about companion plantings, all right? You know, one plant is a companion to another plant. You know, like some people, they'll grow in their garden sweet corn, and underneath the sweet corn, they'll grow beans. Raspberries and blackberries. You can grow raspberries in an area, and right up against it, blackberries. And as the raspberries are spent out, the blackberries are coming on. So now I'm looking at this apple tree and what is causing this to be worm-free, because I don't spray it. One thing I will tell you that if memory serves me right, whenever the blooms are out, there's a fly. Flies will pollinate the flowers on them apples, but during that process they'll lay an egg, and the larvae gets into that apple. That's your worms. Honeybees also pollinate apples. You'll see a lot of your apple orchards, they'll have honeybee hives somewhere in the orchard to help pollinate the apple. A lot of your apple orchard growers, they spray those trees down to keep flies from getting into that flower. That being said, something that I wanted to show you that's right here behind me is a pawpaw. Now, the pawpaw flowers before the apple flowers, and it's got me wondering, pawpaws are pollinated by flies and beetle insects, winged insects in general. And it makes me wonder, when they're pollinating that pawpaw tree, are they committing suicide? I don't know. Could be. It's hard to say. If there's something inside that pawpaw that is lethal to insects, that could be. I will tell you this, I've got a big problem with Japanese beetles flying around out here, and they're tearing the cherry trees up, although the pawpaws, there's a little bit getting hit in there, but nothing to really speak of. They're not hurting the pawpaws very much at all. I think once they get into the pawpaws, they actually eat themselves to a death. That's just my personal opinion that I have said. Anyways, that being said, the friend and I, as we talked about this, he decided, you know, next year he knows I intend to graft some more pawpaws, and he had already stated, well, let me buy some pawpaws off of you next year. Well, I got seedlings, and he said, well, I don't want to sit and wait on seedlings, because seedlings do tend to take longer to produce than grafted trees. So he wants to take 4+ trees off my hand, and he's intending on planting those pawpaw trees around his apple tree. And well, shoot, a few years down the road, that'll give me an opportunity to really see if what I'm thinking is true. I'm willing to bet you what I'm thinking is true, but only time will tell. His tree that he has is a much older tree than this, and we went over there, and I was looking at the apples in his trees, and we both seen them. They're ate up with worms. I mean, he's got a lot of worms in his apple tree, and he wants to try to see if that idea behind the pawpaw killing off flies would help. I don't know. I could be wrong. But, you know, we're talking about companion planting. Is the pawpaw a companion to the apple tree? Only time will tell. Anyways, just something that I wanted to share with you. My name's Jim. If you like what you see, subscribe. Don't forget to click on that bell for notifications, and always try to continue to learn. Y'all have a God-blessed day.